Master impersonator Frank Caliendo joins us now. Good to have you on, my friend. It's Dave Briggs and it's Ross Tucker. Can you give us that impersonation of that fan climbing a tree, pants down, just to try to view the Chiefs parade? I think it was Madden and Summerall.
Yeah, it was, but I can't remember what he was doing. I mean, I think he was just trying to get to the top to the highest point so he could see what was going on, but he couldn't see what was going on, and then he tried to jump to another branch and nothing doing. That's just what happened there. Is you think you're going to make it, then you don't make it, then boom, you're a meme.
That is unbelievable, Frank. I am a huge fan, have been forever. I got to ask you, we got to start with this, man. So, when did you first know that you could do these impressions so well?
I mean, I went to school for broadcast journalism. That's what I thought I was going to do. I wanted to be when I was younger, I wanted to be like an ESPN anchor or something like that. Then I realized how much you had to know, and I was like, I'm not going to pay that much attention. So I just started trying some different voices and doing that, and messing around. Went to an improv comedy class, tried stand up, and now I'm just a genius.
All right.
It's hard to, I can't hold a straight face when I say it.
You are
All
a
right,
genius, man.
So you are a genius. So if you're a 10, Frank, on a scale of 1 to 10, and I'm a
How
0
much am I
in
having
terms
trouble
of
with this
doing
Skype? I'm trying to do Skype, but I'm trying to figure out how. I'm trying to figure out. Tell you what, man, he's trying to figure out how he's supposed to look at. There it is, man. That's pretty good. Now his earbud is falling. When your earbud is falling out, you can't. Hey, look at that. That's a Gruden eye right there, man. I tell you what, it's pretty good, man. All right, go ahead.
So anyway, so Frank or Gruden or whoever,
Overview.
on a scale of 1 to 10, how much of it is natural talent? How much of it's practice? You're a 10, I'm a 0. Like, did you start as a 5 or did you start as an 8? You're just that naturally gifted.
100% talent. I mean, it's all no work whatsoever. I was born. No, it's just repetitive. It's just like sports. It's like anything. You just constantly do stuff over and over and over, say things over and over and over, and then eventually you get the voice or what is working there. So you just drill it. It's the same type of thing as sports, just constant over and over and over. And then for me, I mean, I think I have some natural ability with it, but there are plenty that I can't get either. So
Talking to Frank Caliendo. Check him out at Frank Caliendo on Twitter, frankcaliendo.com. Hitting the stand-up starting in April 4th in Aurora, Illinois, then Tahoe, Washington, and Detroit, Michigan, August 15th. Frank, there's a lot of lists out there that have the top 10 Frank Caliendo impersonations, but what I want to know is, who do you enjoy impersonating the most?
I mean, whatever an audience is reacting to, I don't really care. It's just when they're new, they're fun. I've been working on a bunch of newer types of things too, and doing the Tony Romo right now because people haven't heard it that much. That's a lot of fun with the Jim. This is going to be big. It's going to be incredible and amazing and wonderful. So you do that, and people don't expect it, and that's a lot of fun. But people have their favorites. So, I mean, and it's more based on who the person actually likes or even sometimes dislikes. I try to do everything in a positive way. I find the thing I like about the person, what makes me laugh about the person, and go with that. But yeah, I mean, it's just that's what it is.
You said a short time ago that there's some that you can't get. What's the impersonation that you really want to nail that you just can't stick the landing?
Oh, they're constantly. I mean, I try different ones. Pat McAfee's one I've worked on that is a friend of mine, and I just want to be like, because he comes from Tony Romo. We talked about that on my podcast, even how similar some are. Another one would be Patrick Mahomes. Just all guys named Pat apparently is where I am trying to. Pat O'Brien, Pat Summerall got that one. That's where it started. So I think, yeah, I mean, it's difficult because it's almost like a muscle. So you break it down and you try and you break down the voice and you go for a cadence. How many Christopher Walkens have you heard? You hear it high, you hear it low, you hear it in the middle. You know who it is because you ignore punctuation. So that's what you do, is you find that cadence first, and then you try and get the pitch, or at least I do, and the mannerisms and stuff like that helps. And workshopping them with I do in my podcast, and my buddy John Holmberg, who's on it with me. We just go back and forth, and sometimes we just go back and forth until one of us finds it, or we both find it, and then we both start doing it. It's like I have an Al Michaels, do you believe in miracles? Yes. And then he started working on his Chris Collinsworth. So we do those together. It's just, and you start working on one, and you realize that it sounds like somebody else, and then you go, that's who I'll do. So that happens as well.
Yeah, that is the Caliendo cast, by the way. People can check it out, caliendocast.com. I thought it was interesting, Frank, you did really well with the John Madden, Pat Summerall stuff, which is interesting because so many of the young people probably don't even remember those guys anymore. Yet people like Dave and I absolutely loved it. Mahomes going down the sideline. How hard is it to switch back and forth between two guys like that?
Well, for me, it's pretty simple. I can just go like this and then start talking this way, then go back, maybe throw in a John Gruden, somehow get a Morgan Freeman out of it. How about a little Al Pacino? There we go. So it's kind of a gimmick for me, but it's something I can just do. But in terms of what you said at the beginning there, Pat Summerall and John Madden, I didn't think anybody was going to get it. I think I had some people tell me, you got to try this. You got to do the Pat Summerall and John Madden. I'm like, really? It just seems so old, but this nostalgic thing is going crazy. And then a lot of kids know it from the video game, and even YouTube video games. Like, I remember when we were kids, my parents used to yell at me for being lazy and playing video games. I yell at my son for watching other people play video games on YouTube. That's how lazy. I'm an old man. You kids and your YouTube. So I didn't think, and lots of young people are retweeting it and doing it now with the one with the guy climbing in the tree, which actually came off a suggestion somebody said to do they didn't say Madden and Summerall, but they said do a voiceover for this video of this ding dong, and I was like, all right. So I did it, and now it's pretty much going crazy.
It's awesome. I loved it. Talking to Frank Caliendo, check out his stand-up dates, frankcaliendo.com. Also, that Caliendo cast, also on iTunes. Frank, my favorite impersonation you do is John Gruden, because it's not just the voice, it's the face, it's the eyes, it's the mannerisms, it's the whole deal. So here's my question. Go into your John Gruden for a moment. So go ahead and go there. And
doesn't take me that long,
Tom
man.
Brady.
I'm already doing it.
Now, how do you get Tom Brady to come play for Las Vegas, the Raiders, next season, Coach Gruden?
It's easy, man. You just say Raiders. Everybody wants to be a Raider, man. Didn't you hear me last year? That's what I talked about. Everybody wants to be a Raider, including at one point Antonio Brown. Think about that, man. Think about that tremendosity. I just made up that word. You know why I did? Because I'm John Gruden, man. I'll tell you what, we can get Tom Brady. We need a guy. We could have playing dual quarterbacks, Derek Carr and Tom Brady. And we might even trade for Patrick Mahomes. We might get him. Interdivisional trade. Andy Reid probably going to blow up his ego there, man, with a Super Bowl. I'll tell you what, I'll trade him a cheeseburger for Patrick Mahomes. I love Andy Reid, man.
How would Andy Reid handle the trade request from Gruden for Mahomes for a cheeseburger?
Don't mind if I do. I don't know. I don't know. I don't. My Andy Reid is really just throwing on a mustache and being fat. That's all. That's it.
All right. So what about breaking news, Frank? That from Adam Schefter that Brady has signed with the Raiders.
According to my sources, at this particular time, it appears that Tom Brady, who many consider to be the number one quarterback, not just in this century, but of any time in any possible universe in the future, notwithstanding any type of alien civilization implanting themselves in this world, Tom Brady will be a Raider. It's going to be incredible. And then Jay Glazer comes in with the opposing. I heard exactly the opposite. There's none of this actually happening. A lot of people are saying this stuff. By the way, I was just on my way to work out. Doing a workout, on my way to work out. I got my toothbrush up at Demi Lovato. Anybody see that? It went viral. It's incredible stuff. And we're just ready. It's just going to be incredible. And there it is.
Outstanding. Let's keep that string going on that breaking news, and let's bring in a guy who doesn't know as much about football, but certainly brings the energy. And you go to Stephen A. Smith and his interpretation of that breaking news, Tom Brady.
I have to say that Thomas Magnum Brady, and that's a Magnum PI reference for everybody who is not in tune with Caliendo and his 80s references, although it's back on television right now. I have to say that Tom Brady, what were we talking about? I don't even know, but I'm going to say whatever I just said, is contemplating authenticity and retrofitting every retractatory movement that is henceforth. What?
Ross?
So, all right. So, Frank, do you love what you do now, or do you wish you were a broadcaster?
Oh no, I would never want to be a broadcaster. I don't like to have to go into work all the time. That's with the podcasting and stuff like that, it's once a week. That's even enough for me. So I'm having fun. I'm trying to not just do the impressions, but I realized I got away from the impressions for a bit and realized nobody cared at all. So I'm trying to do a bunch more impressions and then weave that into some of the other regular stand-up I'm doing and stuff like that, and just try and grow, get better. I was always show business is part show, part business, and I was always heavier on the business. Now I'm working on the show or the art part of it. So try and combine it all.
Well, Frank, huge fan. Love what you do. I got to tell you, can you explain? So you're no longer with Fox and you are with ESPN now. Is that correct?
No, I'm not really doing it. ESPN calls me every once in a while. It just depends on what it is. And I've even done a couple little things over at Fox. I'm just kind of independent contractor type. And a lot of times if it's not new and interesting, I just don't even want to do it. So sometimes people come to me, hey, how about Belichick doing this? I'm like, I've done it 6 times. I don't want to do that. And I mean, which was the same thing I would have said probably about the Madden and Summerall, but it's something about not being on camera for that. Like I don't do Madden in makeup anymore really on screen because it just feels so old. But when it's voiceover and it's pretending to be actually them as opposed to a sketch, something seems newer to people about that, fresher, I guess. So I don't mind with that.
Yeah, I've been loving the video clips because I didn't understand. I thought maybe you did something at Fox because for them to not, like, I got to be honest with you, I don't get the Wriggle guys' humor. I'm trying. I try. It's not
younger
me.
People,
I want you back, man. I want you back.
Oh, I could never do it every week again. I just have zero interest in that. I don't think they'd want to do that. I mean, part of the problem is it gets old and difficult. I think young people really like Wriggle. I think he has a big audience, and I know a lot of young people like wonder what I'm doing. They're like, "Why is Caliendo funny?" I don't know why I was going to do that as an old man. Maybe it was me thinking that myself. But they're like, "What's Caliendo doing? He doesn't make any sense. He's not funny. He's old." I mean, it's like, whatever. I just do what I think is funny, and that seems to be working right now, and go with that. But I couldn't do, it's the other thing too, is if I'm always doing impressions on TV with the makeup and stuff like that, it's tough because there's only so many that work. And I found that at ESPN. ESPN is so different than Fox. Fox is like a magazine. ESPN's like a newspaper. So at Fox, I would do like a Dr. Phil or somebody like that, and it would make sense. You do it at ESPN and they're like, no, next. It's like the Simpsons. People in their own world are the ones that everybody knows. The Adam Schefters, the Mel Kiper Jr.'s, Todd. I'm going to say it 6,000 times. Todd to the 10th power, exponentially located. Look at my head just exploded. So it's like, but you go outside, you go on ESPN, and people all know the ESPN characters. You go outside of ESPN, and they don't even know them as much. I mean, some people do, the big sports fans, but Just an interesting situation.
One impression everybody knows that you do very well is, of course, the President of the United States. You have met him. He, I believe, gave you a watch at one point from the Melania line. So we turn the page to XFL season this coming weekend. What if Donald Trump were in the booth doing play-by-play? Have you ever envisioned how that might go?
Look at all these guys. This is a tremendous group of people. They're not as good as me. If I were out there, I'd be throwing touchdown after touchdown after touchdown. That's all I ever threw. When I played, all I ever threw was touchdowns. I'm the #1 touchdown thrower of all time. Better than Joe Montana, better than Tom Brady. Tom Brady takes a back seat to me. Even Bill Belichick comes to me for advice. That's just what it is. And in the XFL, if I were playing in this league, I would destroy everybody. It'd be incredible and amazing and amazingly great. Do you notice I don't even have to have my eyes open to tell you because I'm visualizing this right now. I can see it in Google Eyeball. I have Google Eyeball. I got it because of the president. We get free stuff a lot of times. And that's what that's all about, which was something that's what that John Madden said, and a tremendous saying, but even he took that from me.
That was unbelievable. That was terrific. Now I'm watching the freaking XFL. They just got to get you in the booth or the president, one way or the other.
You know,
the Caliendo.
Was really weird. I'll let you plug Caliendo Cast. The weird thing about the Super Bowl for me was I thought they would plug that league a little bit. Did you see any commercials for it or promos for it at all? I don't think I saw anything during the game. Aren't they partners? I felt like that was odd that you didn't see, at least unless I missed it, one mention. I might have been just still stuck on the halftime show, but at least one mention of the new league, because it's going to be on this Saturday and it's football, and I'll see it on FS1 or something like that. They'll mention the league, but not during the Super Bowl. Did I miss something?
Well, the one promo they have been running, and I don't know if it was during the game per se, but I think it was around it somewhere, either before or just after, if not during, was the football withdrawal syndrome. They sat there behind a desk and talked about how you deal with the loss of football, that the best way to deal with it is XFL season. But I don't know that it was a direct previewing of the games per se, but I think that's how they're trying to fill people's football void is, hey, football withdrawal syndrome, we've got your cure. Before we let you go, so again, it's the Caliendo Cast on iTunes, frankcaliendo.com, at Frank Caliendo on Twitter. The stand-up starts in April 4th. I mentioned that, Aurora, Illinois. Get some tickets. What are we looking forward to? A lot of impressions. What else? Are you going to go into politics, or where else are you going to stray with the stand-up act?
I don't really talk about actual politics. I talk about the people in politics because it's people everybody knows and sees all the time. That's a difficult thing in the world we live in because everybody's programmed directly to, or the algorithms on social media and YouTube and everything are just having people see things that are basically in their own tunnel vision. So politics are everywhere, but I don't actually get into politics. I stay out of that. It's, if I do the Trump stuff, it's going to be tremendous, but it's not going to hit on policies, even though I have the best policies for not talking about policies. A lot of people say that if you don't talk about policy, but it's actually a policy when you don't talk about policy. Think about that while you're policing your policies. I don't. So it's got some regular stand-up talking about family and things like that type of thing. And I just go out there and have fun. Part of what I've been doing with the podcasting stuff has gotten me to be able to talk and express my own ideas a lot more rather than just go from character to character to character. I always had a little bit of stand-up, but I've been working on having more and more and more, and just taking that downtime to set something up, be interesting with it, because there are people who do plenty of better impressions than me. The idea for me has always been Dana Carvey style, where you create a character out inside of the impression so it can go further and even crazier and be sillier, and you're not just trying to be that person. So it's having a take and going with it and making it more three-dimensional as opposed to just trying to be the person.
That's is nobody out there. Yeah.
Well, one of the things that I always think of the difference between an impersonation and impression and I still can't figure out how the phone. That's amazing that I can't figure out where to look. Is an impersonation is the type of thing where somebody's trying to be that person exactly. It's almost like the Vegas show where the guy dresses up as Cher and Joan Rivers and does something, as opposed to an impression is what you create for a sketch that's bigger than life. You exaggerate something and make a character out of them. So most people use them interchangeably. I'm just kind of a snob in those terms, but it's just in my mind, that's a little difference. And I think that when I explain that to people, they're like, oh, I get it. And then they walk away and think, oh, that guy's an idiot. But whatever, I'll just go Jim Rome on him and it'll be incredible, phenomenal, and arugula. How great did this segment just get? Went from being Caliendo talking to himself to being me telling you how great your ratings are. Incredible. It does not get any better than this. Wait a second. If there were 2 me's, that would be better. Double Rome 2 times. Mel Kiper Jr. might have gone with the exponential. Don't interrupt my pauses. You realize how tired my arm is from holding this phone the entire time? I had no idea.
I was gonna ask you, man. You must have guns now.
I have raptor arms too. I mean, this is.
All right. I can't believe you've been holding that.
Look at this.
Thing.
How great is this? Even a hand in front of the Jim Rome impression is still better than just about anything else that could be on the internet. How great is this? Take a look at this. I'm almost a pirate. Ridiculous. You're going to walk the plank, and I'm going to hop over there on my peg leg. Guess what? Now I'm going to get a parrot and have him sit on my shoulder. A peg leg, a patch over your eye, and a parrot. Peg leg, patch, and parrot. Think about that for a second. 3 P words that define pirate. Pirate, patch, peg leg, plank. How about a pirate workout? How about that? A pirate workout where instead of walking the plank, you just do planks. How great is that? Pirate Pilates of the Caribbean. Rack
'em. You gotta rack 'em before that arm falls off. Rack 'em. Frank Caliendo, it's been our great pleasure. Welcome here anytime. The Caliendo Cast, 5 stars on iTunes. FrankCaliendo.com. Bravo, sir. Give that arm a little rest, brother.
We'll see you guys. Great job. You've been better with me. Out.